Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTBase.com. Welcome to this week's Commitments of Traders review. Today we're going to have a look at the 17th COT report of 2016, and as usual we're going to start off with the changes in commercials positions. So here we go. You may see we've got the largest change in commercials positions in the wheat market, the Kansas City wheat. You can see the change size over here. It's definitely much larger than average, and as you may see, it is a bearish COT change signal. That may, of course, push prices lower in the near term. If we open a 5 years chart, here we go, you can see how extreme this market is, or how the COT Extreme changed over time. You may see that there has been a very significant bullish COT Extreme in the market a few reports ago, and since then the extreme has decreased, and as it decreased you can see a bit of a rise in prices, not much, which of course indicates that as you may see the rhythm of this COT extreme, this extreme of course could even widen to greater extent before we really reach a bottom in this market. Copper is our next market, where we have a 27% change in commercials positions. You can see the change size over here, again much larger than average, although we do find greater changes in the past. This is also a bearish COT change signal that of course can affect prices in the upcoming few days. Opening a 5 years chart, here we go, you may see that similarly to the wheat market we just had, we are moving away from bullish COT extreme levels and getting closer and closer to bearish ones. On this 5 years chart, the most bearish COT extreme happened over here, almost 30,000 contracts net short level in case of commercials, and we would reach a bearish extreme for large speculators if they reach, well, basically the opposite, almost 30,000 contracts net long. Nevertheless, we can of course talk about a relative bearish extreme that happened a few reports ago, and since that happened you can see there was a bit of a decline, and now we're back again into rally mode. The most, I would say, the last major COT extreme that we should consider affecting prices at the moment is this one, the bullish COT extreme. Of course, it doesn't mean that we're going to see prices rise from here without any decline. If you look at the chart, there has been a couple of times when we've reached large COT bullish extreme levels, and prices did react to that, but eventually the rally stopped, ended, and got back into the downwards trend that is clearly visible on this 5 years chart. Corn is our next market, with the 26% change in commercials position. You can see it over here. Again, we can be talking about a much larger than average COT change size, bearish one. Here we see prices rising throughout last week, so this COT change signal of course may indicate a bit of a halt in this rally. 5 years chart, let's open a 5 years chart. You may see that we are getting closer to bearish extreme levels, more or less in between the two extremes. Last major extreme that we had was a bullish one, and you can see that we're moving away from those bullish COT extreme levels. Small speculators have decreased their net short positions pretty dramatically in the past few years. You may see that they've gone below 20,000 contracts net short levels. They're back again towards 60,000, but of course you may see on this chart that they could reach even greater position sizes. So that's interesting. Let's move on and have a look at large speculators COT extreme. We've got silver on top of the list with all-time COT extreme, both in commercials and large speculators, I would add. Here we go, you can see it on a wider time frame, and of course we had the silver on top of a list with all-time COT extreme before, and I mentioned to you many times when I was doing these reviews that don't forget these all-time COT extreme, although sounding very rare, and they are, but when they do occur, they of course can be present in the market for many weeks or even months before we see a reaction from price. I'm just saying this because Any of you considering this to be a entry for their trade should take this into consideration before entering, because these extreme can be present in a market, and you would just see prices rise before eventually the rally stops. It's just a reminder for you that the extreme is huge. We've never seen such an extreme, and of course it's signaling a top in the market. Moving on to gold. Here we go. We have gold in front of us. Opening a 5-year chart. Let's see, 246 report extreme large speculators. You may see it over here. So of course we're not surprised to see a very similar picture that we saw in silver. So we have a significant bearish COT extreme, and you may see how well prices reacted to the bullish extreme happening the end of last year, signaling the bottom in the gold market. Now we see a pretty decent rise in prices, and of course, as we do, we're not surprised to see the COT extreme widening. Again, the question is how long or how far these extreme can widen. These extremes can widen or become even larger. That's a big question. They may, of course, go on for many weeks. But nevertheless, the extreme is there, and of course, it's important to know that it's present in the market. Australian dollar is the next market with 158 report extreme. We have that extreme not only in large speculators, but also in commercials. You may see it on the chart over here. So we're moving pretty rapidly towards bearish COT extreme levels. You may see that on this 5-year chart, the most extreme situation happened back over here in 2012, the end of that year. Signaling the end of a rally, or you can also say a top, after which you may see prices have declined, and now we're getting closer and closer to those levels, which of course again signals a top coming soon. It's of course again hard to tell when exactly, but nevertheless it's there. It's a signaling tool telling us that, hey, be careful, there's a huge bearish extreme in the market. Okay, that is going to be all for this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next week. Have a great weekend. Take care. Goodbye.